An interesting paragraph appeared in a trade article recently that was a tell-all when it comes to the fall of Rachel Zegler. It included a reference to Gina Carano. Now, many are wondering if Disney was the source and if Disney was putting up a preemptive legal defense for what surely will be now used in court against them. Did their treatment of Rachel Zegler put them in a very poor position against the Elon Musk-funded lawsuit with Gina Carano? Hello, folks, and welcome back to another dandy of a day, and we are happy to see you coming our way. An attitude of gratitude every single time you click one of our videos. And folks, if you're not yet subscribed, just know that we're working hard each and every day trying to earn that accomplishment from you. We value your time, we'll add value too, and folks, click the like button, and here we go. Out of That Park Place by Marvin Montanero, Rachel Zegler got a social media handler. Gina Carano got fired. The Disney double standard. And today what we're looking at it, does the information coming out about Zegler impact the lawsuit that will begin to start rolling in just a few months, funded by Elon Musk? The way Disney handled Rachel Zegler after her political social media meltdown stands in stark contrast with the company's firing of Gina Carano. In a just world, rules are applied equally, but in Disney's world, the only rule that matters is brand value, and everything else, including company values, is negotiable. This week, a Variety expose revealed that Disney assigned Snow White actress Rachel Zegler a personal social media guru to review her posts after she published political messages that alienated a significant portion of the American public. Among them, blank Orange Man, and May El Trumpo supporters, and the Trumpster voters, and the Don himself, Never No Peace. Think about that. A lead actress in a $270 million Disney family film openly wished misfortune on half the country, maybe even more. Not years ago, during the run-up to the film's release in 2024, and Disney's response, not termination, not a public reprimand, not even a real apology. What happened? She was given help, assistance. Meanwhile, Gina Carano was put through the spin cycle of Lucasfilm, tossed and tumbled, and then bumbled out by the House of Mouse and forced to hide out, basically in her home as if it was a bunker. The news broke to her the same way it was broken to us, and the paparazzi convened around her. It was a terrifying time. Gina, deeply mistreated, we believe, and now the lawsuit is proceeding. June is when we'll get to more stuff, but panel, I open it up to you. What do you think? Does the information we're getting about Zegler add to the woes of Disney as they tried to defend how they did Gina so badly with Star Wars?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, they did Gina Carano wrong and on so many different levels. But the main thing is, firstly, what Gina says isn't anywhere close to what Rachel Zegler said regarding Trump supporters, etc. You know, Gina Carano's post that she put up, the one that ultimately, caused her to be fired by Disney, was just, hey, don't demonize your neighbors. Everybody try to get along. Don't hate your neighbors, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're fired. You're like, what? Where did that come from? Right. But what Rachel Zegler said not only was, evil and hateful, but she said it in the middle of, Snow White's already bad press campaign. And she said it in conjunction. A lot of things she said was in conjunction with the film itself, with the, with the promotion, I should say, of the movie. A lot of the things she said was with the promotions of the movie. Gina Carano's statements were completely separate from her role as, Cara Dune with The Mandalorian. So there was absolutely no reason to fire her. And if anything, yeah, you get her a social media handler, or you say, okay, hey, Gina, try to tone some of that language down or whatever if you don't like it. But zero reason to let her go. And so the fact that they treated her one way and Rachel Zegler a different way, it means that this is where Disney sided with. They have the same beliefs and, the same ideology as Rachel Zegler. And that's the reason why they went all to bat for her. And then with Gina Carano, we don't like you. We don't like what you have to say. We're just going to get rid of you. We're just going to, quietly get you out the door or loudly get you out the door. They fired her over social media, I think. It was just absolutely ridiculous, man. So the whole thing is blowing up in their face. I love it, by the way. I absolutely love this because Disney's getting everything that they 100% deserve on how they've been treating their stars, how they've been handling everything. They are getting what they deserve at this point in time. So good for them.
Hey, Vash, Albertus Magnus out there in the chat says that Disney has yet to call Zegler vile, as did the anonymous sourcing, we assume from Lucasfilm, because that's how it was reported. They did that to Gina Carano as they said no more of her. And Derek's exactly right. These are polar opposites. And the reaction was the polar opposite from Disney, right? So they actually punished someone who we deemed to be innocent, having looked at all the facts, and they assist someone who is being very resistant to doing the right thing. Vash, I think this is going to play out poorly if this thing goes to a judge and actually progresses down the legal path.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You would have thought that they would have been consistent with this policy, given what was going on with Gina Carano. The article from Variety sets it up as if they were hesitant to implement a similar policy with Zegler with that litigation in place. But again, all Gina has to do is amend those filings and go, well, you treated this actress very differently than you treated me. Now, I think the defense will be, well, Lucasfilm's a separate division and so forth. They make their own, decisions regarding that. But clearly, from that Variety article, they were thinking about that other lawsuit when they were making their decision there. I'm kind of in favor of some kind of ethical clause being attached to all these films in order to prevent these things from happening, in order to keep these cast members on and to keep the product as solid as it can be. This film, this $270+ million film, required every single advantage that it could possibly muster because it was so significant for the studio, and everybody was going to compare this to the 1937 animated classic. So the idea that they didn't have some type of clause in place that said, hey, look, listen, if you speak out in a way that damages this product, we're going to sue you, or you're going to have to forego some type of other pay for this film, I think is absolutely bizarre when everything is on the line here.
Hey, Vash, can you get that article ready? Because I want to get that paragraph. We'll share that in just a minute. I want to go to Culture. Culture, there's a really interesting thing at play here. So as Vash was talking about the article, one of the things that it talks about is that Disney, allegedly, that Disney didn't respond to Rachel Zegler because they were worried that they would be doing the same thing that they did to Gina, but they don't think they did anything wrong to Gina. Now, here's what I think's happening, and you tell me what you think about it. Vash, is that ready?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay. If you can read us the part where it says the part about Gina, please, real quick.
Yep, absolutely. And as time went on, Disney became increasingly loath to weigh in on anyone's speech, considering that the studio was sued in 2024 by actress Gina Carano, who claims that she was fired from, quote, The Mandalorian for voicing her opinions on hot button issues. This was obviously following what was happening, like what was the 1937 comments and so forth at the D23 Expo. Some insider says the first time she shoots her mouth off, you nip it in the bud. Apparently, there were maybe executives and insiders who wanted to do something, but the Variety in this article is suggesting that because of what was going on with Gina Carano, they did not.
Okay, so Culture, here's what I think we should play with. That article now, much of the detail within it is being confirmed by the family of the leadership behind the movie. Okay. So now we're getting confirmation. There's only one place that info can come from for the sourcing of that article. In my opinion, that's Disney. Yeah. I'm curious, do you think that that's in that article about Gina Carano as a legal defense because they know they treated Gina and Zegler completely differently and they're exposed?
I think that the journalist behind this actually is making that assumption. I would agree with them. I mean, taking the information from inside, and it did come from Disney. There's no doubt that all of that stuff had to come from Disney, and the fact that it's corroborated. There's the word. It would suggest that Disney knows they're in big trouble with the Gina Carano case. I think they know. I think they know that they don't want to expose themselves to another person that's going to take them to court and
all
eat
of
their
Hollywood culture, because if they lose that, it's going to change the way they treat conservatives and moderates in the
well,
industry.
yeah, but I think that's actually going to happen anyway. I think you're already seeing that because they didn't bother to check her on her political opinions. You know, the pro one side in the Middle East fight situation that she's for.
I gotta see them treat a conservative carefully, cautiously, and kindly first.
Well, I think you're going to see that. I mean, so far there hasn't been a lot of shade thrown at the producer and likely director of the Resurrection of the Christ. Nobody's gone after Mel Gibson recently in a while. James Woods is no longer being attacked as he used to be.
But he's not working either. Nobody's reaching out and say, "Hey, James, you're a major celebrity. You want to come be in our movie again?"
Right. And in fact, he was on Oppenheimer. He was a producer on Oppenheimer, and he left his name off of it in order to get it funded.
Yeah, and again, wild. And that's a few years ago. Okay, but I'm starting, like you said, I'm starting to see slightly different takes in the political sphere in Hollywood. It doesn't mean that they aren't overshadowed by the misbehavior of everybody else there, but I would say that there will be a chilling effect on this going forward. And I think that every contract, this is something Vash suggested earlier, and I agree, you include classes on ethics and outline, proper social media behavior. You include that as part of the contract in any film or television show you put together. I think it's a brilliant idea. The problem is most of these people who see themselves as activists, they don't care. But I have a feeling that the first time an ethics clause or a moral perpetuity clause or any of those issues are actually enforced and publicly so, like it's actually stated by the studio that we're enforcing this, that'll bring around a chilling effect as well, because it's gonna this film failed in part, maybe even large part, because of her shooting off her mouth.
And culture, The Mandalorian succeeded in large part because of Gina, and that's undeniable after the fall off.
Yep. Well, you know what's interesting is,
go ahead. Sorry, Derek.
They knew that Rachel Zegler was a problem pill from day one. They already talked about the Oscar situation back in 2022. All right. That was, I think, before they even started filming Snow White. So they knew that she could be this type of a person. Maybe, they still had some question marks like, are we doing the right thing? But they picked Rachel Zegler because of her Latina background, because of her heritage, and they rocked with it all the way out. Instead of just saying, you know what, this actress really isn't going to work out for us, guys. We see already she's causing some problems behind the scenes just because of this Oscar invite. Let's go ahead and just move on, find somebody else. We can quietly get rid of her. But they wanted to keep her on, in my opinion, because she's a Latina and there's diversity brownie points to be gained here. We want to do the whole, hey, see yourself, modern, representation, all of that stuff. And it's like, okay, this is what happens because of that. You dealt with a problem child who was a problem from the very beginning. You saw this. You should have seen this coming. All right. A lot of us did. A lot of us have been saying, I don't know about Rachel Zegler. I kind of see what she's like on social media. She's not capable of controlling herself. And you're putting her as a Disney princess. All right. This isn't, some other kind of, this is Snow White we're talking about. All right. This is a very, the character is kind, sweet, demure, innocent, childlike. You want some actress that can kind of embody that. And Rachel Zegler's social media absolutely said the opposite of that. So this was bound to happen. Disney, you guys, you saw this situation coming, but you thought you could control it. You cannot control these these actresses that just want to get out on social media, run their mouths, shoot off their mouths. You cannot control them. And so the best thing to do is don't hire them in the first place. Forget all of the, hey, we got to get them a social media manager. We got to make sure that they walk the line and do the right thing. And we'll kind of, curate all of their posts. No, just don't hire them. Okay. And then the problem will correct itself. Then everybody, you know what? I'm not getting work anymore. I wonder if it has something to do with my social media, and that's there it is. So that's what Disney should do. And all of these other Hollywood companies, stop hiring these actresses. When when Amanda Stenberg goes out and drops a diss track on Star Wars fans, Are you going to hire her for that? She's going to drop a diss track on your fans the next project that she's in if she doesn't get her way, or if people have some criticisms about her. So just don't hire these actresses. Problem solved. Thank you. You can
I
drop
don't
some
disagree
checks in
with
the mail
this.
for me. I just did it for you.
I don't disagree with this assessment at all. But
Don't
now
press
that the
send.
die has been cast, so to speak, there has to be consequences for these actresses, right? I mean, Amanda Stenberg, Zegler, they take those projects in a big way. You got to start enforcing something on these. Like, hey, look, listen, you did irreparable damage for us. Hey, even, okay, they hired what? Security for Gal Gadot, apparently. Okay, well, that comes out of your pocket because we wouldn't have had to do that unless you got involved in this way. There has to be some consequences or else this chilling effect never happens. But I agree with DA. Hire team players from the start.
I'll just point out there's like 10,000 people that work on these movies. It is, if you watch the credits, they are longer and longer than ever before. So this is affecting a lot of people. I don't know how many people on those on that list are getting points, but they're definitely not getting paid anything.
Bingo.
For these movies
that's the thing.
that just go in the hole.
Do we think that maybe the producer would have had something to do with this, given that, he's looking to produce another film for Disney, and obviously, I mean, he might be getting points as part of this. We have his son speaking out, and we have some details and information that maybe would only be privy to him and his team. Do we think this is maybe the origin point for this specific article on Variety?
What happens with a sinking ship? Everybody wants to get off, and everybody wants to say it was that person over there who put the hole in the darn thing. And frankly, we've all known that Zegler is an iceberg now for 3 years. So kudos to them for finding a way to find a lifeboat if they can.
And let me make one last point, Pro, if you don't mind. I've heard a lot of people talking about her age. Oh, she's a young girl. She was only 20, 21, 22. Look, so is Jenna Ortega. And you don't see all this nonsense coming out of Jenna Ortega. Halle Bailey was a perfect little princess, even though I disagreed with the whole race swap, but she embodied the role of Ariel the way that you would expect a Disney princess to do. So Rachel Zegler, and I think they're both younger than Rachel Zegler, if I'm not mistaken, or they're around the same age. They're both young, and they do a perfect job at handling themselves in the media, on social media. Like, Rachel Zegler just doesn't need social media. They should get it out of her hands. But this has nothing to do with age. This has everything to do with narcissism. This has everything to do with immaturity. That's basically what this is about. So yeah, I'm tired of that excuse as well. Stop it. All right. There's no excuse for her behavior.
Derek, I'm so happy that you brought that up. That's exactly what I was thinking about Jenna Ortega. And we actually have a story. I think the media, those sympathetic to Zegler, they're going to try to pit her and Ortega against each other. I know. You want more. You want more of the Pro Channel, folks, but we've got to head out the door for this video. But fret not yet, for more content is yet on the way. 3 times a day, thrice as nice, right here on the Pro Channel. Oh, what's that you say? You want more than that? Fine, we'll do 4. 4 videos. Well, yeah, that's happening. Folks, as you get ready to go, consider clicking the like button for us. It is a huge help. Also, like, share, subscribe, and click it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. We would also love it if you could drop on down and give us a comment. We love hearing from you. And although we can't respond to every single comment, we often are reading them indeed. Folks, we would encourage you to consider subscribing to our partner channels, that Park Place, that Game Place, and that Pod Place. We love them all. We think you might too. Until the next time we have the joy of joining with you, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun. Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio.
Hawaiian ice freeze, yeah. Can't wait to be up.
What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.